Ba-da-boom. What is up, YouTube? Thoughts? I've just finished my feature film that I'm doing. It was called Amsterdam Secrets. And of course, I missed NAB. So I've been trawling the internet and obviously looking through all the videos. And an important thing to do is actually, can you go get the charger? Because I haven't charged my phone. So my beautiful, glamorous assistant. Oh, she's not on camera.
What do you need the phone?
No, for the computer. Will come charge my phone. So I thought I would go through, I looked through all the videos. I made a playlist and I will post a link to that somehow after this is done live recording. And yeah, then you guys can look through. There's quite a few interesting developments. There wasn't the crazy like saga of whatever it was, the timecode wars like last year. With everything coming out, so wanted to just recap. There's quite a few interesting things, quite a few things that are not necessarily, they're sound related, but they're not related directly to our industry, like was from Sennheiser. Thank you very much, beautiful assistant. And so I just thought I'd talk in no particular order and kind of just give you a rundown of them. And of course, you can watch all the videos and stuff as well. But yeah, it's just for my own thing. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it this year. I was so close to making it, but I had the last week of this feature film to do. And I thought, no, I'm just going to go next year, going to go in fresh. It seems bad to kind of leave a feature film, especially like leave it in the fourth out of the fifth week, especially when I'm doing the post-production. So I just wanted to make sure that I did right by the film. And of course, then all this kind of stuff and sharing whatever the hell I think should definitely come second, because I can't rely on that for a career. I just kind of do this for fun right now. So of course, get in the comments while we're still live right now. And unless you see it, if you don't see a live thing, then you're probably watching a re-recorded video, in which case leave comments and I will get back to you soon. So there's quite a few things. So in no particular now they have mic and line switchable inputs through the menu, which is quite cool. They've got a new upgraded limiter. So what it does is it looks ahead by delaying the track by, in terms of the incoming input, delays it by 500 milliseconds to kind of give you an extra safety in terms of when that limiter will kick in and make sure that you're never clipping. Quite useful for some, but if you're already getting to that extreme of clipping often, I would say look at your technique overall. And they've actually upgraded the DC input as well, so now you can have more options and kind of just more stable kind of powering inputs. So that's up to 18 volts now, and they've also improved the headphone input as well, so that should be kind of more liking to everyone as well. And this, according to the video, is in line with them just listening to the community and trying to get the most out of that. Next, we'll go on to Sony. So the Sony, they took us through the DWX versions of all their kit. It's a new third generation. It's all digital. So what they're trying to do is get just one A to D, which is analog to digital converter at the very start of the process, from the actual microphone, the sound hitting the microphone. And then they're trying to keep it all the way digital until it hits the speaker, where obviously it has to be converted back to analog, because that's how you actually hear things. So what else is in there? Yeah, you can basically change their transmitters from the desk and from the receivers, whether it's rack mounted or just single. And you can even daisy chain them with AES technology as well. Again, AES just standing for the Audio Engineering Society, which is a standard depending on what type of digital you're using, such as AES 42 is the phantom powered version of digital, or AES 3, which is the non-phantom powered version of digital. And you can daisy chain a lot of them together to get as many inputs as you need, all digital and all fun. So yeah, then we'll go on to Deity mics. So Aperture and Deity have kind of separated in terms of just a branding perspective. And this is mainly because they were making lights and microphones, and so having it under one umbrella, they thought that they would then rebrand to then make basically a dedicated kind of sound brand, which makes a lot of sense. So the Deity mics, they've redone everything in terms of redone the shotgun mic, which again I did tests on earlier. So they've actually brought down the noise floor of that, but you still have the RX, you still have the same pickup pattern, and what else? It's still $3 of US dollars if you're buying it in the US, or $450 if you're buying it with the Rycop mount as well. So the whole idea is just to not only update those kind of older models, but also introduce some new ones. So they have the D3 and the D3 Pro. And what that is basically looking for is kind of on-camera mic, kind of hybrid to then boom pole mic. So what I mean by that, if you check out the video as well in the playlist, is that you can have this mounted to your camera, and there's no kind of fixed weird screw that only works with like a DSLR. It's basically a thin tube, like a normal shotgun mic. And they have built-in kind of powering as well by USB. And that'll run, the D3 runs for about 20 hours and the D3 Pro runs for about 50 hours on a 1-hour charge cycle. And you can actually have controllable gain. I'm really interested in mainly the Pro because you have a controllable gain on the back of the actual thing. So if you're using it with a DSLR, that's really interesting. But also that the TRS plug, so like the 3.5 millimeter plug that you get with it, can detect what voltage it's at. So if you plug it into an Android device, it'll automatically go to the right pin compared to plugging it into an iOS device, compared to plugging it into a camera. So that's really interesting just to see that kind of technology come about. So yeah, that's the D3 goes for under 100 and the D3 Pro goes for about 320 US, which is quite interesting as well. And again, do get in the comments if you have any thoughts about anything that I'm saying today. I'm just kind of running through my list at the moment as people kind of get on board. But yeah, so it's really interesting to see Deity kind of sit in their own category and almost... and the Deity mics, according to Vincent, can be good for wireless planting as well. Because obviously they have their own phantom power. You basically can just plug them straight in to a G3 or anything you have, and then they essentially become their own plant mic. So I think that's going to be a really interesting development, just in terms of just an accessory that can go. Generally, the D3, they said it was going to be released around midsummer, so it should be pretty good. Have I seen the DaVinci Resolve 15 update? No, I'm still getting to that video, but I got so much on the production side that I thought that maybe I'll check out that later. But yeah, the Farlight or the Fairlight section for the ADR looks interesting. It's kind of similar to Adobe's, right, in terms of the what was it called, like the Revox. Yeah. Anyway, let's go through the rest of my list before I completely forget it. We had the MixPre series, mainly the 10, but also there was kind of 3 main features that came in this latest 2.10 update. And that was mainly the remix feature, the queuing feature, and the expanded linking. So let's start with the easiest to explain first. Expanded linking, originally you just had the 1 and 2 track together, you had MS side, and you had 1 to 4 linking for ambisonic mics. But now they have 1 to 3, they have 1 to 6, they have 1 to 7, they have 1 to 8, they have 5 to 7, they have 1 to 4, they have, basically there's a lot of different linking options, and you can even link them with just faders only. So if you match all the gains together, then all the faders work in unison as well. So you basically, I assume, only turning one fader because they're all linked together. Turn one fader, they do exactly the same on everything. So if you have different mics at different gains, you can link them just by fader as opposed to it's coming out for all of them soon, and it should be already out now and released. So if you have a MixPre 3, 6, or 10, again, those linking options will vary depending on how many tracks you have, but that should be pretty sweet. Then we have an interesting one from Sennheiser. They basically brought out a portable recorder that works with video, like on your phone. So you have a Sennheiser app, and then you have this weird kind of kind of square with a mag clip that basically records for up to 4 hours and conveniently has runtime of 4 hours as well. So if you're out of recording space, it's likely that your battery is also dead as well. But with that time, it takes about 2 hours to charge it to 70% though, which is interesting. Medium and high, funnily enough. And so it's mainly based on photojournalism, that kind of thing. And then what it'll do, if you use it in conjunction with the app, it'll actually then automatically sync the audio after passing it. It basically becomes like a Wi-Fi hotspot, sends it to your phone, and then the app will kind of link and sync everything together. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if you use more than one. But apart from that, it's it's pretty interesting in terms of just trying to kind of break into photojournalism, and in terms of that market with something new. So we'll see how it develops. Apparently, they've had very positive stuff so far. But yeah, let's move on because it doesn't really fit our sector so far. And so the last interesting one that I saw was Rode. Rode bought Soundfield, who were the kind of the early birds to the ambisonic microphone, and they basically did their own kind of Soundfield ambisonic mic by Rode. So because they obviously own the company, so it's the NT-SF1, and it's their own ambisonic field mic. So for 360 video, and it's $9.99 US in the US. And that's with a windshield and shock mount as well. And you get full balance signals, and it's a true condenser mic. So one of the big things that they're pushing is that it is potentially the lowest noise out of all the other ambisonic mics as well. And so that pretty much wraps up super quick in relation to the playlist I made, the kind of main things that I've seen so far. I do also have the Sanken CSM1, and that's basically a short version of a kind of shotgun. The video is only like 50 seconds long, so it's all kind of about basically a shorter form mic that is doing the kind of beautiful Sanken sound as well. So that's a little rundown of everything from NAB. Kind of an interesting mixed bag. There hasn't been kind of a big area that's been attacked. There was also some of the stuff that we already knew about in terms of audio limited and sound devices working together, and just the feedback from the industry in general that they've had. So a lot of people using their wireless instead of cabled, and how that whole conversion's going about. There's been some interesting. I think they still have quite a few things to work out. It's taken them so long to get to market comparatively in terms of some of the other iterations of different wireless that we've seen. That it'll be interesting to see where it goes, because apparently sound devices were interested in audio limited as soon as they saw the first version of the 1010s. But now with the A10s, which is digital, it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of develops. I definitely don't think we're going to lose cross compatibility with the Super Slot series at all. But maybe it's stuff like inbuilt recorders, just more kind of just cross sharing of technology to kind of improve all products. So that'll be quite interesting to see. And now, especially with sound devices bringing out the remix feature and the queuing markers for the MixPre series, stuff along the line in terms of the fated kind of next 788 iteration will have basically more technology and kind of look very similar to a kind of Zaxcom thing as well, because obviously Zaxcom already has the remix feature. And I don't know if it has cue markers, but the kind of general technology is spreading out across the range of things, which is quite interesting to see. So, but yeah, and I still, as someone commented earlier, I still need to see the DaVinci Resolve in terms of the ADR section. So maybe I'll try and look that up as well. Maybe I can do it while not disturbing any of you guys. So, but what did you guys think of NAB? Get in those comments on the side while I look at the DaVinci Resolve with Black Magic. DaVinci Resolve Fairlight audio page. They've added a complete new set of tools for automatic dialogue replacement. So you can import a cue list, or you can place a cue list right inside of the application, and then with your recording, you can basically count off the beeps and everything. So it's basically an automatic queuing for ADR. And so then, which is in the audio timeline, you can turn on the video tracks so you can see the video track, and then it has a fixed playhead mode. So then basically you can queue up and kind of center on the screen and scroll the audio underneath to see what's coming up is really important. So yeah, that's really interesting. So basically have a more simple way of queuing ADR. And I think it's going to be interesting in general because Fairlight hasn't really been adopted compared to how much Adobe Audition smashed Final Cut once they kind of went against the wall with the X series as well. So yeah, they can just line up anything and edit the audio to fit. So yeah, that'd be really interesting as well. So yeah, so if you guys have any thoughts about NAB, let me know in the comments at the side. And there was also a few other videos that I didn't really get to, such as new Audio Technica and also Duke Digital. But generally pretty tame. There's quite new things. There was obviously K-Tech doing their Aero line, which is the kind of low-cost production sound accessories. So it's interesting to see them. I think K-Tech is the company with the most boom poles, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of just a range of different boom poles. And so to bring out also a low cost range as well, something to compete with probably the Rhodes and the what else is a low cost range? Yeah, the Rode and what is it, like Gitzo? They kind of cornered the market on the low range stuff for a while. So yeah, and we had a Proco as well. So I won't make this video go on for a million years because no one likes that at all. Pro Tools changing up naming. HD is Ultra. Yeah, let's see. NAB Pro Tools. I mean, it's interesting where Pro Tools will go. In terms of people are not really taken across kind of so much hardware now. I think this is just my personal opinion in terms of people are preferring even the Adobe edition. A lot of people, again, starting to speak more about Audition and using that, just like they used to do Logic back in the day when it was Soundtrack Pro and Logic. Yeah, HD Pro is now unlimited. So 1 week ago, they released the 2018.4. It's renaming HD to unlimited. So I'll add that to the playlist as well. So if you have any more thoughts, let me know in the comments down below. But I thought I'd just recap the general thoughts of all the videos that I've watched so far and just add my kind of 2 cents to it as well. So until next time, I will see you guys later.